We actually have an action-packed hour here today. We've got at least two presenters, and we've got some lists of different resources we want to share and talk about with you. So for those of you who have not met myself, I'm Maureen Ficaro, Community Relations Manager here at Wisteria Place. And we have also on this call, we have Sheila Lively, who's our general manager at Wisteria Place. Sheila's given a wave, and we have Ann Lacey, who is also a part of our community relations team, and a lot of you have met Ann as well. So really excited. Wisteria Place is opening this summer, and we're just really happy to have this conversation because we have a lot of people who are considering moving and downsizing into Wisteria Place, or just starting their thinking about, do I want to do this community living thing? I feel like I want to downsize. So the topics that we're covering today are relatable for a lot of people who are considering this, and we're excited that we can have this conversation. And today's the base, it's the start of the conversation. And Anne and I have been taking information from a lot of people who've been sending their recommendations to us, their questions to us, and we're open to keep receiving that. What we're doing is building a little directory that will more help people in Richmond, or moving to Richmond, but certainly have fantastic ideas no matter where you live. There are services and resources out there that we might not even have imagined. And the truth is, moving and downsizing can be onerous, overwhelming, and we really hope that people can take the time to take care of themselves and not let it be stressful and, frankly, anxiety provoking, making you a little ill. How can you make it light and enjoyable and kind of treasure the fond memories in the process as you go through? And some of that is sometimes letting go of total control and letting yourselves find some help or support. Anyways, all right, so I'm going to get us going here with a little PowerPoint, and then we've got a recording from one of the Lower Mainland's most popular downsizers. But for starts, I'm going to share my screen with you, and here we go. So just look at the little agenda that we've got for you. And here I go. I have fun because I've got my, darn, I can't get it away from there. So it's coming, guys. All right. So now you can just see our agenda. So one thing I wanted to point out was we just had Mother's Day, belated happy Mother's Day to people, and we had a little contest, and really Wisteria Place wants to honor all the mothers and whatnot, nurturers in our lives. Stephanie Chan's going to share a video conversation. She couldn't be with us. James Mori is coming to talk about real estate and selling your home. I believe Sylvia and Max are on the call from Madden Solutions. And then we're going to just quickly review some miscellaneous services, open up for questions and answers. And if our hour goes real quickly, just know that we're here, and you can send us recommendations and questions after the chat today as well, because we really want to make your move and your shift and transition to community living and downsized living. We want to help make that a smooth process for you. And then we want to share with you a little bit about what's coming up next at Wisteria Place. So from a Mother's Day perspective, You know, our incoming residents shared photos and memories, and it was really fun for us to get to know people more. And they shared some advice that their mothers had given them. And I just wanted to say, if you're curious, check out the Wisteria Place Facebook page, and you can see more posts that people submitted and get a sense of the community that we're becoming. And so now I'm going to share with you a video that we have from uh, from none other than Stephanie Chan. So hang tight, everybody. Hi there. Well, here we have uh, Stephanie Chan, and she's here to join Anne and I, the community relations team for Wisteria Place, in a discussion about downsizing, clearing, moving, and seniors who are making the decision to do that. And who better than Stephanie, who's been in the business for 14 years now. She has her own business called Home to Home Advisory Services, and she comes highly recommended. So we're happy that you're here with us today, Stephanie. And well, why don't you just start by telling us about what Home to Home Advisory Services is all about, and what kinds of things you can offer to independent seniors who are making the decision to move from their homes into a downsized situation in an independent retirement community for seniors.
Sure, sure. Thanks for having me today. So, we help seniors move in a nutshell. We've been in business since 2007, and we've helped hundreds of seniors downsize and move into retirement communities. And we help with every step of the move process, depending on how much the senior needs help with and whether there's family involved. So we really cater to every situation depending on what their needs are. But we do everything from looking at the floor plan and doing a customized floor plan to helping someone sort and pack, um, arranging move logistics, unpacking, hanging up art, plugging in electronics, and making them feel settled into the new place. So we do really do everything start to finish, including also helping families deal with the things that they're not taking to the new home.
That's awesome. Yeah. And in general, when people are coming to you looking for your services, I guess some of them go for the full gamut and others just pick and choose the things that they feel they want
Mhm.
help with. Yeah.
Yeah, we really cater to every situation. And I would say the two areas that we help people with the most, where most commonly they need help, is with the sorting and packing because it's so labor intensive. And that I always advise people, if you're going to get any help at all, do it with the packing and unpacking, because the last thing you want is someone hurting themselves trying to lift a heavy box. And it can get quite labor intensive with all the packing and unpacking. The other area that I find people need help with is, with every downsize, there's often things that they're not taking to the new home. And people get overwhelmed around, well, what do I do with all these things? They know that some things might be sellable or donatable, but have no idea how to go about it. So we help people with that as well, dealing with the things they're not taking and making them feel less overwhelmed about the whole move process. Because I find that often is the thing that maybe is the one thing that hinders someone from making that decision to move, is they're feeling overwhelmed. But if they know that there's help around to help them with the whole process from start to finish, then we can help them feel a bit more calm about the whole move.
Hmm. I can imagine. Yeah. Thank you. Uh, Another question that's been coming to us is, how much in advance do you recommend people start planning their move?
It varies depending on how much they have in their current home or how big their home is. So we recommend starting to think about it, not necessarily take action. So you're not actually packing boxes, but thinking about it a good maybe month and a half to 2 months. Start looking around your house and think, if I were to downsize, what would I take? What would I not take? Maybe start talking to about family members about what they would want. So that conversation can start maybe a couple of months in advance. And then the actual labor intensive pieces around sorting and packing would be maybe a few weeks. It really doesn't take a lot of time, but um, we always try to cater to the energy level of the seniors. So the amount of advanced planning and how much time really depends on the person's energy level and how much they have.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Thank you. Well, I know Anne and I have both been speaking with a lot of people, either ready to sell their homes and prepare for a move, or thinking about it for the future. So we do get a lot of questions. And is there anything in particular coming to your mind you'd like to ask Stephanie?
Well, one question that definitely has come up over the last couple of days has what do I do with my artwork? I have collected all this wonderful artwork over the last many decades, whether it be professional photos of different landscapes or professional photography, or art and paintings and things like that, or even collections. Any suggestions, Stephanie, of what they might be able to do with these things? They don't want them to end up in the landfill, and they're prized possessions. They want to see them going to a good place. Any suggestions?
Yeah, we always try to find good homes for things. And certainly we have dealt with excess artwork. So with artwork, sometimes we get it appraised and sometimes artwork can be sold. But if someone is just looking for a good home, for example, I just worked on a job where we donated some art pieces to Vancouver Hospice. It was really cheery, really beautiful art. And the family suggested, because their mother had a relative in a hospice, that they wanted to really support that. And so we donated the artwork to Vancouver Hospice, and they were happy to receive the art, and they're going to put it up on their walls. Another idea would be maybe a school. So there's always options and creative avenues. Maybe a seniors community center. There's always places that would be happy to take artwork.
Yeah, that's a good question. Another one I've heard is pianos. People wondering what to do with their piano.
Pianos are tough. It depends on the state of the piano and whether it's been kept in tune. And so we have been able to sell pianos that are in good condition. We have also donated pianos, and sometimes you have to get pretty creative, but we've donated pianos to schools for their music program. We've donated pianos to the Playhouse Theater. This was before COVID, of course, when they were still performing. Yeah, pianos can be tough, but you can get creative about it.
Yeah, good. Thank you. I have had another thing, and I'm not sure if this is in your scope, but a lot of people find that their furniture is too big, and they know they need to get rid of it. But then, where do I find smaller furniture that I'm going to love and is comfortable? And some are really excited to buy some new things. But do you have any recommendations of how people can go about finding furniture that fits a smaller apartment versus a big home?
Yeah, there are a couple of, we get asked this a lot as well, because people are moving from a house into a smaller suite. And so I mean, some suggestions I have of some stores that sell apartment-sized furniture. In Richmond, there's Mobler. Of course, there's IKEA. Everyone knows about IKEA. Across from IKEA in Richmond, there's a store called Mobler, and they sell a lot of apartment-sized furniture. There's also a store in town called Structube. And in Vancouver, if people want to venture into Vancouver, There's a place called Inspiration Furniture. There are a number of places that will sell apartment-sized furniture. And we can certainly, if anyone wants to contact me after this, we can certainly give them some suggestions.
Oh, thank you. That's great. Well, I know we're going to need to wrap it up pretty fast, but is there anything else, Anne, that comes to you before we wrap up?
Now I know, Stephanie, you'll give this information with anybody that reaches out to you, but how does it work when you hire someone like yourself? Is it a contract? Is it an hourly rate? I don't need you to give all your information out, but give me an idea of how someone might contact you and what the process going forward would look like with them.
Sure, that's a great question. So anyone listening to this video can contact Maureen or Anne for my contact information. And what I start off with is a complimentary consult where I will go out and meet with them. They can meet me in person and ask whatever questions they'd like. And that consult allows me to see their current home. And we talk about where they're moving to. Are they moving to a 2-bedroom or a 1-bedroom? And then I'll follow up with a fee estimate. So I'll come up with a cost and a budget for their whole move, taking into account our fees, but as well as movers. And then there's costs in often clearing out the remaining items of what they're not taking to their new home. So I'll come up with an estimate for the whole move. And that estimate includes the various components. And for our fees, we charge hourly.
Okay.
So I estimate the number of hours that I think it would be involved, depending on what they need help with. So at that consult, we'll discuss, well, do you need help with unpacking? Do you want help with packing? How about dealing with the things that you're leaving behind? So based on an estimated number of hours, we come up with a quote, and then the actual cost will be on actual hours. So if it's less than the estimate, then we only bill for what it actually came out to.
Okay, that helps me get my head around it a bit better. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, Stephanie, thank you so much. You are a wealth of information and definitely resources. And I know we only touched the tip of the iceberg today, but I think that what you've shared with us will surely give peace of mind to a number of people who are just not sure where to begin with it all. And now knowing that they can contact you, check out your website, can really help them start thinking about the different possibilities and different steps. And the fact that there actually are a lot of resources and that you can help them with all the different aspects is fantastic. So thank you so much for coming to join us, Stephanie of Home to Home Advisory Services. And I believe your website's home2home.ca.
It's home-to-home.ca.
Okay, perfect.
A little long.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We wish you all the best and
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you when we open.
Absolutely. I can't wait. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Awesome. So we want to tap right into our next source of information and resources today, and that is Sylvia and Max of Madden Solutions. And these two, so it's a husband and wife business, Madden Solutions, and they come to us also highly recommended. I know that they have particular experience moving seniors into communities, so they understand how the communities function, what the needs are with the elevators and community mealtime, and understanding the needs and things that seniors really prefer around their moves. So I'm excited that they're here to share with us. Yeah, over to you, Sylvia, then. I mean, our question, just for starters, tell us a bit about Madden Solutions, your company, and the services that you offer, and anything else that you think would help our group today or others watching this later when they're selecting a mover, and just helping them understand what you guys really offer.
Okay, so we're a company based out of Kitsilano. We've been in business since 2008 here in Vancouver. Max is actually from Australia, so he came here. He did have a bit of a moving company in Australia and then started it again here. We provide just moving services or other services as well. So we will also do packing, helping you downsize and look at items that you want to dispose of. Our core business, the things that we do the most of are senior moves. We have probably, I would think, about 80 to 90 seniors moves that we do every month. So that's a lot, over 1,000 a year. So we deal with a lot of the seniors residences all over, a lot in Richmond, Vancouver, North Van, Langley, White Rock. So we've done a lot of them, and we're very familiar with the staff. We're very familiar with the layouts, the meal times. So when we organize the moves, we make sure that if we're starting in the morning, that we don't hit the meal times. Depending on where you move into, there's heat rooms potentially where your items need to go in. So we make sure we allot time for that. So we also are very familiar with the floor plans. So we really want to make sure that when you moving into a place, we know what needs to be done, and we're familiar with all the items that need to happen. And then obviously we can help with packing as well if you require it. We talk to you and find out what you really, where you're going, what your floor plan is like as well. So if we can, we will try and put furniture in positions that you want it. So if you say, I want my furniture put here, we'll make sure that if the plan, if you know it, that we put it in the right position. We also have a pretty good idea what fits in a lot of the locations. So we really also talk to people about, what do you really need? What provides you utility? What is sentimental value? And what do you really need on your first day? Because you don't want to pack everything when you're moving. And here you are on your first day and you can't find your toothbrush and you can't find medication or items that you really need. And potentially also, you need your bed, you need some bedding. So all these items, we look at it and we make sure that those items are not packed, they're not in the back of a truck. So we make sure that you have all these things. And because we're familiar with a lot of the layouts, we want to make sure that we tell people, well, you can take all of this, but then by the time you get to your new apartment, you will need to downsize again, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to double move because there's only so much space. So it is really important that you think about what you want to take that actually provides you utility, like your bed, your dresser, maybe an eating table, a TV, a couch. And then you want to look at the items that are of sentimental value for you that you really want to keep, that you want to keep around you. And anything else you really need to, as Stephanie already mentioned prior, you really need to look at, family, or how you're going to dispose of it, what you want to do with it. So we work with a number of charities that we provide items to, and we also work with a number of auction houses where we drop off items where we can sell them for you. Antiques, we deal with Maynards quite a bit, and they will come in and evaluate and see if your items are something that they want to sell, if they're have like value. So we try and do a lot of these things as well. So but the real important part is that you plan in advance. We, as a company, we book out probably 2 months in advance, especially during month end. So it is important to think about it ahead of time, and that you do have the plans, and that you also have a plan for the day of your move. Because the day of your move, you want to make sure that you either have family around, or that you know where you're going, that there's phone numbers, there's communication with the building manager where you're moving from. So elevators are booked, parking permits are in place. that you know where you're going, who is driving you, how are you going to get to your new location, that family is around to help you if you need it, who's going to be there when you arrive. So those are all items to really think about. And you want to plan that in advance. And you don't want to be surprised on the day of your move or be completely flustered, because it is a stressful time. Even if you're very, very planned, you're moving to a new location, you're leaving your home that you've potentially been in for a really long period of time. So you do want to make sure that it's all planned out. So you're not making major decisions on the day. You want to make sure that you've planned it all in advance. And we try and help you. And if we're always willing to help answer questions. So if you're not sure what to do with a piece of furniture, or you're not sure if it's too big, or you're not sure if to take it, we'd be happy to answer questions. We email back and forth with customers, and we have absolutely no problem answering all your questions and helping you on the day. And if you want, we can also provide packing services, but mostly our men, even without, if it's just a move, we try and position furniture in the places where you would want it. And we generally try and set up your bed and set up your dresser so that you're prepared for the day of your move, and you actually can have a first day's rest when you get there, and you're not sitting amongst, a variety of boxes.
Wow, you shared a lot there, Sylvia. And just listening to you, I get a real sense of why you have been recommended as a company. And it's about thinking about all the extra bits. It's about thinking about what's going to make it easier and a more positive experience for people. And thank you so much for sharing all those details. We actually do have to move on to our next speaker, but I want to say thank you to Max and Sylvia for coming. And what's kind of fun is right on this call, we're seeing Max in action. Looks like he's on a move and doing his thing. So thank you both for sharing your information. And we will, as I mentioned earlier, we will definitely have your information available to share with people should they need your services and want to reach out. So thank you very much.
Maureen, could I just say something really quickly?
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't realise I was on mute, but thank you for having us. And sorry, I got caught up here. I thought we would have been done early, but with the company, like as Sylvia was saying, it's good to get a heads up, because if we're on somebody's move, their move is paramount to us at the time, no matter what, right?
Yeah.
And just as a really good example, just here a second ago, we were getting rid of some things for a gentleman here. And when I went to move the dresser, there's a whole box of old family photos that he's missed.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I'm getting rid of some stuff to the charity and to auction for him right now. And then we're also dropping off a couple of pieces for him. But when I was getting the charity pieces, lo and behold, here's these family photos. So we know there's things that are important. We're not, I'll put it bluntly, all of my men are very switched on, and I have an expectation that they're going to be at that standard. So for us, if you come back to what the presentation, what we said earlier, there's I don't know if you can see my shirt, but it says reliable, reputable, reasonable. And that is really the essence of our business is trust. You've got to know that if your parents, during the pandemic, a lot of people couldn't help with their parents because of the restrictions, but they trusted us to do those jobs, and so did a lot of the retirement homes that we deal with. So you want people like us in your retirement home. Anyway, but thank you very much. I'm going to have to leave now, and thank you to my lovely wife for presenting.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Max.
No worries.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.
Bye.
And he alluded to something that we'd spoken to, we're asking people about as well. And that is, how scary is it during pandemic to have companies helping us out and coming into your home? But they have definitely reassured me that I know Madden Solutions is taking all the precautions that are necessary. And we at Wisteria Place and Optima Living have people's safety as well in mind. So So making sure that when people are coming into the building, if they're supporting people with a move, that they are taking precautions, because we want to make sure everybody's safe. That's a definite. All right. So thank you so much. And we've got to move on. And I didn't introduce him when he came in, but we now have somebody from Sutton Realty. And I think he's on mute. So I'd like to introduce you to James Mori. He is a representative of Sutton Realty. He's been working in the field for over 30 years. And James helps a variety of people in the Lower Mainland selling their homes and whatnot. And I know our time's going quickly, but James, welcome to the Wisteria Place Resourcing Coffee Chat. Great to have you. And why don't you start off, James, by telling us about yourself, the work that you do, and tell us why someone might be called to come and get your services. So yeah, we'd love to hear.
Thank you very much. And I'm originally from Japan, and a long time ago. And I'm doing Sutton Group over 33 years. And cover for Richmond, Vancouver, Burnaby, like around Vancouver, west, east. And this year is quite hot market. And the listing price, sold price is over like a 15% all the time. Yeah. And okay, BC assessment is last year is very low. Then sold price is also 15 to 20% more higher. Yeah. Mostly sold very quick, like within 1 week. So if you have any questions about the real estate, I can answer for you.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well,
anyway, market is very hot.
Yeah, we are kind of aware of that, and I know some of our people have been telling us they put their place on the market and it's sold very quickly, and others are just starting to either put it on the market or will put it on the market soon. They're trying to consider their options. One of the questions that people have are, James, do you think it's a good time for them to put it on the market, or should they wait until they move in and then put it on the market?
Yes. And now time to put on the market. Mostly highest season is April and May and June. Just 3 months is very quick and highest. And I already introduced 2 people to your senior home. And one of guys, Japanese guy, and sold the property, and the possession date is like moving time. And first of all, I made August, but now maybe middle of August or September. So, and I can adjust quickly as soon as possible to back up, rent back up, anything you want.
Yeah. Oh, that's good to know. It's no doubt that's one of the concerns that people have if they put their place on the market. You know, what will I do if the possession date or completion date happens a bit before? And they're thinking about how they're going to manage that if it is their situation. Interim accommodation. Do I stay with family? Do I store my stuff? Do I find an interim place to stay? And that is one thing we've been looking at as well. But all of us have our fingers crossed that things will work out for people in that way. So another question that I have quickly, James, is for people planning to sell, do you have any tips for them in the preparation, or as they're thinking about, I think I'm going to put my place on the market? What tips do you have for them to consider when they're in that place?
Very good question. Just to make it tidy.
Yeah, get right. Yeah,
Yeah, but just clean up and kind of like clothes and the kitchen, especially people likes to watch kitchen.
is that right, eh?
Kitchen, the
Kitchen's a prime.
bathroom.
Yeah,
Kitchen, the bathroom is clean.
right.
And people like it.
Yeah, yeah,
And price is more higher.
right. When it's clean and people walk in and can think that they could get in there quickly. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That sounds good. And it's also related to what sort of Stephanie and Max Madden's group are there to help people do that. But I see a hand going up. Anne, did you have a question?
I have a question. Hello, James.
Hi, Anne.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Do you find with the market as hot as it is, do you find a lot of people are still paying to have their houses staged, or is that not so necessary at this time?
Not necessary because of people, okay, buyer. I have experience in just to change the new paint for cream white. A buyer changed to gray.
Right.
So waste the money to spend the money.
Yeah, yeah.
Now this season is you don't have to do a paint floor, anything, just a tidy. That's all. Because the market is really quick.
Yeah. That's good feedback because, 5 years ago, it probably would have been a different story or, at different times. It's just the nature of our market now. And we've heard that from other people as well. So, yeah, thank you.
You're
Well,
welcome.
yeah. Um, so I think, well, how are we? Yeah, we're running slightly behind. So I'm going to say, James, we really appreciate you coming and your experience is certainly helpful. So everyone on the talk, let me just say this. I'm going to run through a couple of slides because Anne and I have been pulling together some resources and whatnot. We just want to share some ideas with you. And I'm going to do that relatively quickly and hoping that we'll open for a window of some Q&A, but this is what I want to say. Please be thinking about questions that you have. If we don't have a chance to get to them in our time together today, make sure you get them to Anne or I, and we will resource some answers for you to support you as you go through this transition and time of thinking of your options for resources. Okay, so do that. And also, anyone on the call who's interested in having more questions in Japanese, James speaks Japanese. We have Keiko. We have Keiko on the call who also does. And I mean, anybody's welcome, but from 11 to 11:30, we'll continue that conversation with an option of translation if anybody wants or needs that, okay?
Okay.
All righty, thank you. I'm going to power through and find a few of our, no, not that one. There we go. So, nope, not that one. Sorry, guys. Weird. Doesn't seem to want to come up. Can you see my, there we go.
Oh, your screen is blank.
Yeah, it's coming, guys. Slowly but surely. All right, here we go. So we've had Madden Solutions and we've talked about downsizing and clearing. We've had Stephanie and as well as James talking a little bit about real estate. What we know is that choosing people to help you move is really a personal thing. And we are gathering resources and information for you, but we know that you are going to need to get out there and find the right fit for you. be it someone coming into your home to help with the staging or downsizing or anything. We will give you ideas. We recommend you get a second opinion until you find someone that really feels right to support you. So in this area, we had Stephanie speaking to downsizing, clearing, decluttering, staging. There's a lot of businesses out there that can support you. Her group was recommended, and another who's come to us has a business called A Place for Everything. And James is the owner of that company. And these are the kinds of services they offer. And we wanted to share that with you so you know those services exist. And you can look them up online, or you can get someone to help you find someone, but they downsize, they pack, they move, they unpack. Space planning, home sale preparation, estate clearing, selling of unwanted items, professional organizing, home repairs, handyman services, all of it, yeah, and cleaning itself. So there's lots of companies out there that can do that. So I just wanted to give that to you as an example as well. So the selling, the giving, and the donating, lots of recommendations came in. Facebook Marketplace was the most popular, and I think it is really growing out there. Another one, there's a Richmond page for garage sale, not garage sale. And I know myself, I've used it and I love it. I've never had a problem, and I leave my items outside and people leave the cash. So it's kind of fun. You should check that app out because your sale can be very quick. But as others have mentioned in the chat, you know, you might have antiques. There's an antique mall in Steveston. There's Maynard's that Madden suggested, and others. So there are places that can help you. In New West, there's a consignment shop that sells old things, special things, your tea sets and all that. But as far as the tea sets go, places like Wisteria Place can take a number of those things for our tea parties. So if they're like new and in good condition, there are places out there who might be interested as well. Local newspapers still can advertise for you. There's a site called Buy Nothing, and you can also, if you are willing to donate it to somebody who might really need it, you can use that one. People talked about use this time to give your things to family, to gift and re-gift your items, and they even talked about having draws and prizes, even if it's a Zoom games thing. But, you know, just considering creative options for helping you with your items. And then, of course, donation ideas that came in were Value Village, SPCA, the Wraps Thrift Store. There's lots of them. But with these during the pandemic, recommend that you call them because they have different conditions for how and when you drop off, and maybe limits on certain things that they take. So best to call them to save yourselves a trip. All right, selling, giving, donating. Financial planning was a question that came in, you know, and what came to us was really, it's wise to go through your own financial institution if you're comfortable with them and choose a financial planner. But also feel free to get a second opinion. And if you're selling your home and looking at investing your money, choose an investment advisor that you're comfortable with. Excuse me. Be prepared. Oh my goodness, have a power of attorney. Look at representation in your will. And a website that it has resources is Healthy Families BC. And you can download a great BC Seniors Guide. Highly recommend that. I might be passing this over to Anne with my dry throat.
Let me know.
So, the realtors and real estate advice, like we have mentioned, you met James on this call. Linda Turberg came to another call of ours, and she has been a great help to people we know. But there are many good realtors out there. So you choose one that is comfortable for you. These are other services that we are collecting resources for. If you're interested, we'll send you that in a PDF or by email. Yes. And any of these things will be helpful for you. And Anne, over to you.
No problem. Take some water. I know
Yeah.
we're not used to talking this much at any one spot, so we do get a dry throat. So tips when moving and downsizing. And Stephanie really talked about this. She said, don't try and do it on your own. Decide what your comfort level is and what your energy level is, and work with someone, whether it be family or one of the companies we've talked about. Get help. Reach out to us if you need assistance, and we can give you suggestions on who to go to, but don't try and do this all on your own. And especially if things cause you stress or cause you anxiety, make sure you're aware of which things are things that you want to delegate to someone else. And set an intention for ease, fond memories, and appreciation. So look at the items and go back to something that maybe you've heard of, the Marie Kondo system, where she looks at things and say, does this give me joy? Is this item going to bring some joy to me going forward? Or is it just something I've always had? I think it's a lovely way of looking at our items. And even someone else mentioned, take photos of things. If it's something I don't really need, but I need to remember it, that's what our photos can be used for as well. What you don't need can be helpful for others. And we've talked a lot about donations, and it always amazes me on Virage Sale and the giveaway pages, maybe they're on Craigslist, is truly the expression that one man's junk is another man's treasure. You never know what someone else might be looking for. And it's so nice to share your things that you don't require anymore with someone else. And if it doesn't spark joy, just let it go. Take time to breathe, laugh, energize, and take care of you. This is a big transition. The last thing we want is you to be overwhelmed before moving into your new place. So do look at some of our resources and get the assistance that we know is out there.
Thank you, Anne. That was very helpful. Before we go on to look at things to look forward to, I'm going to stay on this one because I don't want you getting ahead of me. Really just want to say thank you for joining us today. There's a great number of people, which certainly shows us how many people are really trying to work their way through and consider their options for a move, be it to Wisteria Place or whatever your next step may be. Anyways, I hope that what has been shared today has given you some ideas. We literally only have a couple of minutes. Quickly, before I'm going to see if there's 2 or 3 burning questions. But before I do, because I don't want to lose, some of you are going to have to leave. The things that you can look forward to from Wisteria Place, starting May 19th, next Wednesday, we are going to have regular introductions to Wisteria Place. Now, if you've already seen our material and talked to us, this won't be for you. But if you know someone who's curious, or if we have new people calling in, we're going to get them registered for one of these sessions where they can dial in and see what Wisteria Place is all about. But from June once we open, once we have our furniture in there, we will definitely update these and have some where we've got some up-to-date virtual tours and whatnot. And believe you me, we cannot wait to do that. We're very excited. And in June, we'll have our June coffee chat. Stay tuned for our theme, as well as our Zoom fitness, which is also coming up next Thursday. So a week today at 10 a.m. Join us for a fitness class that you are going to love. So it'll be focused on all different levels. And just to let you in on a little secret, we actually have a certified fitness instructor here on this call who's going to lead this one.
Oh, that was going to be a surprise.
Oh, sorry. I broke the surprise. There you go.
Before I was a concierge, I was a long-term fitness instructor with seniors. So I look forward to leading next week's class with you.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I hope to be there too. And of course, we're opening this summer. Can't wait to be there. Some of you are moving in. And those of you who are curious about us, hopefully we'll be able to do some tours later on after we get people moved in. So I'm going to stop the share and put it out there. Anybody have a total burning question before we close off?
Maureen, I have a quick item that I didn't mention that I would like to mention.
Okay, Sylvia, go for it.
If you have any items that have historical value, we try and place them. So for example, it might not be worth any money. And so we've given things to the Billy Bishop. They do Second World War material. The Vancouver Museum, we've given a coat from the Aga Khan to the Ismaili community, Austrian community. So if you have items of historical value, then keep them aside, because there's people that want those, and it's important that we keep that history, old pictures of Vancouver. So it's really important that we kind of keep these historical things and they don't end up in the landfill.
That's great. Thank you so much, Sylvia. That's a fun one. And one question came in. I'm gonna answer that one. And if we've missed any others, like I said, we'll try and get back to you after. But someone asked when people will actually be moving into the building. And those are people who are already have chosen a suite. And I don't have a different answer from what I last said. We will actually know within the next week when we can start booking those tours. And we're aiming for, Sheila, do you have an update? But I think we're aiming for the end of this month, right? So we should be able to contact people in the near future.
That is correct, Maureen. We are still aiming for the end of May. We've always said mid-May to the end of May. We do have, bi-weekly board meetings with construction, with TL Construction, who keeps us informed. So we are still kind of focused towards the end of May. If anything changes for all of our depositors, we will be next week sending out at the beginning of the week a depositor update on our construction update, and when we can start scheduling you and contacting you for those move-in scheduled tours of your suite. And also for those people on the call today, when can you start coming in and seeing our show suites as well?
Awesome. I can't wait. We're all excited about that, staff and the community alike. So thank you all so much for coming to join us. Now, we do have the luxury of having more Q&A time. Now, our thought was that if some people wanted some Japanese translation, we have Keiko and we have James here to talk about real estate, but anybody is welcome to stay for that conversation. But we're going to morph over into a Q&A, and we'll see how it goes. Does anybody want to ask Keiko a question or need clarification in Japanese? And maybe Sylvia and James can answer if the question is related to their area of expertise, if that's all right. And for those of you who are signing off, really grateful that you all joined us, and we wish you all the best. All right, the Atkinsons are waving. Is that a question or a goodbye? Okay, bye-bye. Thank you. All right, if you have a question, let me see. Please. And maybe you don't. There's a lot of topics that came up today, and hopefully you all can feel comfortable. Either you've got enough in your own world of resources and things that you have in place for yourself, or you know, you're thinking about it. And maybe if you think in the future a list of resources would help, we will send that to you. And Keiko has something to say, and she's on mute.
Hi, Maureen.
Hi, Keiko.
Hi, everybody. Can I mention one thing to Japanese? I'd
Sure.
just like to introduce one mover from Richmond. Is that okay?
Sure.
Yeah. 皆さん、こんにちは。ですね、引っ越し業者さんについてなんですけども、日本語で、対応してくれる引っ越し業者さんをお探しの方は、このリッチモンドにヤマト運輸さんがございますので、直接ヤマト運輸さんにお問い合わせしてくれば、引っ越しに関してはベテランなので、日本語で引っ越しを対応してほしいという方は、ヤマト運輸さんをお勧めしますということです。よろしくお願いします。Thank you, Mori.
Thanks.
Somebody from Richmond who speaks Japanese if they would like a Japanese service for moving.
Yeah, it's great to have different options.
Yeah.
I know Stephanie Chan's business has people who have other language. So,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
we are a diverse community.
Exactly.
And James has a comment. Okay, James, take it away.
And Yamato is a really good company, and all the time I ask them, they are coming 2 truck. 2台で来ます。トラック2台。2 truck. 1 for moving, 1 for garbage. So all garbage is you don't need some old bed, desk, closet. They are all take it to throw away.
Yeah.
And 1 truck is moving, like a dining room or living room, anything like all moving stuff.
Yeah.
2nd truck is a garbage truck, all finish, clean up the house.
Recycling.
So Yamato is とてもいい会社です。I recommend.
Good. Great to have different resources. Look at all those smiles. How many people on this call are actually planning to move this year? Wow. So, yeah, I see hands. Sheila too. GM's moving. Hopefully closer. Our general manager's in North Van. So North Van to Richmond's a bit of a hike. She'll be moving too.
Hi, sorry.
Go ahead. Have you got a question?
Yeah, actually I do. You know, when you have a moving day, that whatever day it is, but then people have furniture that they're purchasing and then they have a moving day for that and it doesn't correspond with the day that you're actually moving. How does that work?
So first off, really timely communication. So, you know, we hope that, of course, everybody hopes, the people moving in as well as us, that as much as possible we can keep it contained, especially due to COVID. We want to limit the amount of trips and whatnot. But bottom line is, of course, we want people to get their furniture, and sometimes it's going to come on a different day. You just need to talk to us as soon as you know, and we'll work something out. Yeah.
Okay, my understanding, yeah, because my understanding is you're allowing 2 moves or something a day.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
Yes, at this point, you know, if those regulations change, because we're listening to what's going on in the province, but right now it'll be 2 per day, 4 days a week. Yeah. But when people have those extra things that need to come, we will work with you to help you get the furniture and the things you need into our building. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So
Thank
you
you.
just stay in touch. We're there for that.
I have a question here,
Yes.
Maureen. Hi.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry.
So when it's an actual moving day, I'm sure some of the applicants would like one of the family members to help them out to sort out, not just unpacking, but to sort out things where the things belong. So are the family members allowed to come and help? Like, what is the limit of an actual moving day? What the limit of the people?
Right. That's a great question, and everybody will be asking it, right?
Right.
I would just say that that the answer to that may in fact be based a little bit on what's going on with the pandemic and the provincial regulations.
Right.
But Sheila, do you have can you answer that one?
Yeah, so everybody, just so you're aware, as we kind of open the doors, we do have to do a COVID safety plan in preparation for move-in. So right now, the guidelines is that you can have the resident plus 2 people at a time in the suite. So what that means is if the movers are in the suite, the family members can't be in the suite. So that would be a coordination with the movers. So if people are coming and they're unpacking stuff, the movers got to get in. So we just have to kind of respect that rule right now with the guidelines. It may change, but just based on sizing of the suite, with the resident in the suite, if you're in a 2-bedroom suite, then absolutely you can have 4 people in the suite. So it just depends on the suite size is based on how many people. But right now the guidelines we have put forward, which have been approved, is a resident plus 2 people in the suite to limit the social distancing and movement within the suite for safety.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila. Well, honestly, it's been great to have this discussion. And I know we've loved getting information from people. So truly, again, I just put it out to you. If you have recommendations of people and services that you have really appreciated, let us know. But on the other side too, if there's a certain service that you are curious about and are looking for resources, let us know, because we'd like to be the hub. We want to be able to help you find the resources you need. Now, Michael, did you have a question?
Yeah, I think we sold the house, and so we're moving from Steveston to Steveston, which is a little closer. And the question was, once the closing occurs, we will notify you that it's gone, and so then we can arrange a date for the moving. Is that correct?
Yeah, so yes, it is. So basically, people who have already sold are letting us know when their completion dates are. Our goal is to help those who have sold their homes and need to move in sooner. We will juggle that and consider it when we set up our move-in schedule. And week by week, we're getting so close to that, but we don't want to start it until we know we've got all the approvals and licenses done. And our general manager, Sheila, is working like a dog. She's getting it all done. But that being said, yes, please let us know, Anne or I. We are collecting that information, and we really want to make people's moves as simple and supported as possible. And if a better move-in date will help that, then we're going to aim to do that as best we can. Yeah, thank you, Michael.
Because I'd hate to be without a place to sleep. We'd have to move in with you.
Yeah. Well, hey, I can put a tent in my backyard.
I've been there, done that. Don't want to do it again.
Oh, you mean you want my bedroom? I'm going to have to move to the tent. Okay, we got a question, but it says go ahead.
People that have sold their home and are ready to move, but the place isn't ready yet in the regard to what about meals? You don't have a cook there for 6 people.
So you mean once you move in?
But once you've sold and you have to be out of your home or your other place by a certain date, you can't really count on moving in, can you?
Yeah, and that will come clear as we get the clarity from our builders, developers, and the city, etc. So we're almost there. We almost have that, but there could very well be a period because it's kind of out of our hands how people's completion dates are working. Sheila, did you have anything to add to that?
No, I think, we'll keep assessing. We know, as our commitment to you guys is, we will hold true to getting you more dates and more information as we get the information. So like I said, next week, we'll send out a depositors newsletter with, where construction's at, where we're at with our occupancy permits and stuff. So being very upfront. Good news is, we have a cook. So if there is a little bit of delay, we may just have to be creative. And how do we be creative? If there is a delay, a couple of delays, and you're worried about food and how do we get food to you? So we'll figure out if there is a delay, how that looks. But right now, we haven't been told of any delays yet. So once we know, we will then reach out to those specific people. If they already have commitments, how do we support them? If there is a little bit of a delay, and if it means 2 or 3 days delay and they have to go to a hotel, how do we get the food to them? How do we feed them? Because we already have we have hired a cook who will be in our community by the first week of June, so he can start testing our menu. We already have our menu ready to go. So we'll be working on that. So once we figure out all the dates, but I would just keep open, have a conversation with Maureen, making sure, with your realtor, Maureen and Anne have gotten calls saying, hey, like James did recommend, we have someone moving in and they're going to move in the middle of August, just so there's opportunity and needs. They have time to downsize and work with movers and then have a great move, and we'll be fully operational.
Thank you, Sheila.
Thank you.
Yeah, food. Everybody's excited about the food.
We'll
All
be
right.
taste testers.
What's that?
We will be the taste testers.
You betcha.
And we will be do taste testing as well. Michael will be organizing that, is whether it be a drive-by with our depositors before opening. Yeah. So
yeah, we'll hold you to that, Sheila. How about Judy has a question.
Yeah, just a quick one. I am wondering how much is usual to have the completion date and the possession date? Maybe James?
Yes.
Oh, James, that's a question for you. Yeah, so you mean these days with the market, how are you finding, what is that period on average? Right?
Yes, average. Can you listen?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, average is 1 month. But okay, if seller can choose the date for 2 months, 3 months, so whenever you want, this is no trouble. Completion and the possession is different of 1 day, 2 days. So completion is August 15, possession is August 17, like something like that.
Yeah, I see.
Meaning these days, but we, the sellers, have the legal option to ask for longer period between the completion and possession. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can make anything you want.
Yeah. I think that's, James, is that because the market is so hot, people are willing to do that extension?
Yes.
Giving more time.
Now is, yeah, absolutely is a seller's side, not the buyer's market, seller's market.
Yeah.
So seller choose the date, no complaint.
Yeah. So that's your experience. Good. Good. Well, hopefully dates will line up. We're rooting for everyone. Now, I know we've got Sylvia and James on the call. Does anybody have any other questions for them or through Keiko? No. You know what? It's been fantastic. And we've said, send us your questions. We are really excited to see how the next month and 2 months unfold, meeting those of you who are moving in, and certainly being there for those of you who are curious about us. We're still there for you. Anne and Sheila and I have been so happy to be a part of this opening team, and the team's going to be growing, as Sheila said. We've got a fantastic experienced chef coming on, and our team will be growing too. And one thing I can say about that is Sheila is not missing a beat on making sure that the people who join our team are really aligned with our values and what we really want our community to hold, which is really about caring, about diversity. You know, our tagline, life in harmony, that's really what we all want. And we will do whatever we can to make that happen. Anyways, delightful to see everybody today. Haven't heard from the Haas, but we see you. We know you're there. Take care. Sylvia and James, thank you for bringing your expertise. And we look forward to connecting with all of you, however that may be. So thanks so much. Take care of yourselves and enjoy this beautiful spring.
Thank you, Mori.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.